The word thought leader can make some eyes twitch just a little bit. The thought leadership, being a leader within your field, all of those things, they are terms that we use as marketers, and they are a little bit buzzy and they're a little bit cliche and also ick at times. And it's become one of those buzzwords that gets thrown around so much that it's almost lost its meaning. Somewhere along the line, thought leadership lost its genuineness. It became more of a club for those who have got buzzwords and people who speak in jargon. But that's not thought leadership. Real thought leadership is about clarity. It's about being brave enough to think for yourself and kind enough to help others think in that way too. Allow them to be able to come along with you and understand your thought processes to help them think differently too. It's not about looking clever. It's actually about being useful. Looking clever pretty much puts you in the position of going, yeah, that's a bit icky. But being useful and being helpful gets people coming back to you time and time again to engage with your services, to seek your knowledge. And that is a thought leader. So in this episode, let's strip back the fluff and pull back the curtain and talk about what real thought leadership actually looks like in practice.
Welcome to the Talk Podcast with ideas strategist Linda Reed-Enever. Talk is where we chat about ideas and inspiration you can use to market your business. Get ready for practical tips you can implement today with your host, Linda Reed-Enever.
People can often think about thought leadership as being up on a pedestal. So let's start with the leader part, because somewhere along the way that got confused. Being a thought leader isn't about standing on stage with the spotlight, doing the happy dances and the fingers and the TikTok dances and all of that sort of stuff. It's about standing with your audience, sometimes a few steps ahead of them, sometimes it's right beside them. When I first started teaching myself marketing, I didn't call myself a leader. And in fact, even now, I don't particularly call myself a leader. I talk about being a strategist and being able to help you. I shared what I was learning, what I'd learned in the past and what I knew was working and what definitely wasn't. And people began to follow that honesty. When I started teaching course creation, I did exactly the same thing. And then one day someone said to me, I was a thought leader. And I sort of laughed because I hadn't tried to be one. I was just being real and sharing what I learned along the way and being a teacher and an educator, which is a natural skill set for me. And that's what people crave. They don't need another guru. They need someone who's actually done the work, made some mistakes, and is willing to talk about both. Because I don't pretend in any way, shape or form that I've not had a marketing campaign that failed, that I've not had a business idea that failed. And I think that's what makes me a little bit more human and why you tune in to listen to me. So if you're sitting there thinking, who am I to lead? Then good. That's humility. That's going to be your edge. And real leadership starts with curiosity and not ego. Let's dive into the courage part now. The courage to say something real. The fastest way to build trust as a thought leader is to stop being vague and actually just come out with real and the way it is. There is so much safe talk out there online. Follow your passion, add value, think outside the box. Now, these are all terms that I use, but none of it means anything unless you show people how to do it. When I talk about marketing trees, for instance, I don't say just grow your business organically and hope you go and throw some fertilizer on it. I break it down. I explain the roots, the branches, the fruits, the whole ecosystem, because metaphors are lovely, but clarity and understanding what that metaphor means is absolute gold. Real thought leadership is specific, it's detailed, it's about giving people that click moment where something suddenly makes sense, that light bulb moment where it turns on. And that takes courage. Because the moment you get specific, you invite debate. You risk being wrong. And that's okay, because the world doesn't need perfect experts. It needs more people willing to think in public, be human, and have that human angle. Because if we were looking for the expert answer for everything, AI puts it at our fingertips now. Now, it might be wrong along the way, but it puts a bland expert version in there. It doesn't put a human version in there. And it doesn't bring in what is next, which is your voice, your credibility. Too many people lose theirs in the process of trying to sound like a thought leader. When I scroll through LinkedIn, I can tell instantly people who are writing from their gut and for those who are writing for fear. Fear, for one, sound robotic. Everything's polished and there's no personal nature to it. Your credibility doesn't come from being flawless. It comes from being consistent and human. One of the things that people say, and I'm sure listeners say when listening to this podcast, is I talk fast. I know I do, but it is my superpower because my brain moves fast. Now, I tried to slow myself down. I tried to stop all of those sorts of things. And in the process of doing that, I was losing my audience. So once I went, okay, cool, this is who I am. We tested my speech. I don't talk faster than JSK. So I've become passionate about a topic. I have energy, and that's contagious. If you're passionate about a topic, show it. If something frustrates you, talk about it. Emotion isn't unprofessional. It's the human connection that people want in your message. And in the world of AI, it's going to be the thing that makes you stand out. So when I share about burnout or boundaries or creative seasons, it's not because it makes me look strong. It's because it's true. And I want to show that moments in time, I lose those boundaries and I forget those creative seasons, or I have the blocks that everyone else has. And that's because truth will build trust faster than any branding trick ever will. So the next time you're writing a post, ask yourself, would I say this exactly like this to a friend? If the answer is no, rewrite it till it sounds like you. You can still use your AI tools, but make sure that you're adding your voice in, not the filtered one. This is also huge when it comes to thought leadership. We need to teach what we're learning, not just what we've mastered. This one is big because the best thought leaders aren't the ones who's arrived. They're the ones who are still exploring and inviting others to come along in the journey with us. Especially my Ideas, Impact and Marketing Circle. We'll talk about teaching different things, exploring different things, new features when things come out. And I've had plenty of moments where I've said, I'm testing this idea instead of here's the perfect answer. And guess what? People loved it. They walked with me on the journey and they didn't wait for the polished destination post that I had. And especially inside my membership, we do that a lot. Let's test this out. Let's see how this goes. And I work in a field where testing is what we do all the time. So don't wait until your ideas are perfect. Share them. Share the progress. Let your audience see the thought process evolve. That transparency builds connection. It also allows people to see that you actually do learn stuff. The internet, AI, it's full of finished products. What's missing is the thinking humans. Be one of them. This will make you stand out more than ever now. Generosity over grandstanding. Real thought leadership is generous. It's about contribution, not competition. You can always tell who's in for impact versus ego. The impact-driven leaders are giving away insights freely. They credit others. They elevate conversations. You've only got to think about Facebook communities. Inside business, business, business. I know there's other marketing experts. Clive knows there's other coaches. We let them come in because we're not going to be the right expert for everyone. And we don't need to hold that gate so tightly. In 12 years, it's proven to reward us again and again for keeping an open community. That doesn't mean that you give everything away for free. It means you share enough to make people's lives genuinely better today. You can then include your offerings and then someone can take that from you and just move up from there. If someone can take something from your content and use it immediately, even if it's a mindset shift, then you've led them. And that is thought leadership in action. Then it all comes down to finding that signature idea. The most powerful thought leaders are known for one or two big ideas that anchor their work. For me, it's that marketing is not a funnel, it's a tree. Everything I create branches out to form that metaphor. It gives people a mental model and they see it in action. What is your version of that? What is the lens that you see in your industry that others don't? Maybe it's leadership as gardening. Maybe you see productivity as rhythm. Whatever it is, define it and repeat it. That's how people will start saying, oh, that's your thing. And once that happens, you're not chasing authority, it's following you. Here's something in this process that is easy to forget. Being seen as a thought leader will change how people respond to you. They'll quote you, they'll tag you, they maybe even put you on a pedestal. And that can all feel lovely, but don't believe your own headlines. Stay close to the work. Keep mentoring, keep learning, keep experimenting. The moment you stop getting your hands dirty in your craft, your thinking stops being fresh and you are no longer a thought leader. The best leaders are the ones that get in there, get themselves dirty, they test, they serve, they do the work, and they never think that they're too good to learn something new. I know I've still got years of learning within this industry, and that's what I love about it. So be proud of your expertise, but stay anchored in humility. That's what keeps your thought leadership human. So we want you to become thought leaders listening to this podcast episode. So this week, I want you to write down 3 statements that reflect what you truly believe about your industry. Not the safe stuff, but the real stuff. Then choose one and share it publicly, maybe as a post or a video or a conversation with your audience. Explain why you believe it, how you came to that conclusion, and what it means for them. No jargon, no fluff, just clarity, courage, and put on your big girl pants or big boy pants and show some care along the way. Because the world doesn't need more inverted commas thought leaders. It needs clear thinkers who actually lead. And if you can be that person, honest, generous, and grounded, people won't just listen to you, they will trust you. And then they will buy from you, engage with you, and follow you. Until next time, I'm Linda Reed-Enever. I'm an ideas, impact, and marketing strategist, and I help you create impact by teaching you what I do. And see, that was thought leadership, my ending summary.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Talk with Linda Reed-Enever. Make sure you subscribe via your favourite podcast app so you don't miss the next great episode. You can find more ideas and inspiration at enevergroup.com.au.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Delta Airlines just turned 100 and is already shaping the next century of flight with the Delta Sustainable Skies Lab. Here, they're building the future of flight. Think electric air taxis and next-gen aircraft aiming to cut fuel burn significantly. And this isn't just future talk. Today, their fleet of Boeing 737s have marine-like finlets designed to reshape airflow that reduces drag. The future of travel is more sustainable, and Delta's leading the way. Learn more at delta.com/sustainability.